In the year 1997, the future is in chaos and turmoil. Mankind is on the brink of extinction. Brave survivors band together and build a time displacement apparatus to receive a signal from a parallel future. This transmission is the Wundercast.
Welcome to the Wundercast, the official podcast of Wunderblog.com, the home of UFF8 coverage. Unnamed Footage Festival 8 is here, and just like all the 8 things in every franchise, it's the best one yet. I am your host and filmmaker, Stephen Escudero, and with me today is the filmmaker behind Anniversary_6, Carmen Perez. How you doing, Carmen?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
How does it feel getting selected for Unnamed Footage Festival?
It feels awesome. I hadn't really expected this short to go anywhere, I guess. Because I made it like the last semester that I was getting my graduate degree in film over at Emerson College. And it was just for like a one-off advanced directing class. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be submitting my thesis to film festivals. I might as well submit this one to film festivals too and just, see what happens. So I found Unnamed Footage Festival on a Reddit recommendation thread of underrated festivals that a lot of people don't know about. And I was like, oh, that's found footage. That's perfect for this. And internally when I was submitting it, I was like, okay, if I don't get into this one, then this film is just cooked. Because if my found footage film doesn't get into a found footage festival, then what am I doing? And so when I got the email back that was like, oh yeah, you've been selected, I was like, ah, very, very exciting. So yeah, I'm super happy that we're going to be playing at this. It sounds like a really awesome festival.
Yeah, it's a dream come true to get into Unnamed Footage Festival in my eyes. So here's the beautiful UFF8 website. There's their mascot, a Yuffie at the bottom here, creeping us out. Boo. Let's check out the calendar. So here we have on the 28th, the short form footage block at the Balboa Theater at 11 a.m. is the place to catch Carmen's awesome film, Anniversary_6. Or should I just say Anniversary 6? Is that how you prefer it?
Yeah, I've just been referring to it as Anniversary 6.
Okay. I am showing, or they are showing Toy Vlog Hunt on the 29th at 3:25 with the feature film Leech. So that is the other place that you definitely got to be. Let's go down to Anniversary 6. I love your poster. Who put together your poster?
Thank you. Yes, that's one of my friends from grad school, Tomas Orego. He his background before he went to grad school was architecture and graphic design and stuff like that. So he's the poster guy that all of us in the program went to, just because everything that he does is so cool. He asked me oh, do you have any specific things that you want me to do? And I was like, just go crazy, and we'll see what he came up with. So yeah, yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah, I love the font. Like I could totally see a t-shirt with that font on it. You know what I mean? Like it's great t-shirt font.
Yeah, yeah.
So what how did you get into filmmaking?
Uh, so I'm thinking if I like retrace everything like all the way back to like, when I was a child. Like I watched the Percy Jackson movie with my aunt, and I was like a huge like Percy Jackson fan like in middle school. Like I read all the books. I loved all the books. We watched the movie and I was like, wow, that was terrible. I could make a better movie than that. And then I kind of like forgot about that for the next like however many years until I started getting really into like YouTube. Like I what I would consider to be like I don't know, like classic like original YouTube before I don't know. It's a lot different now than when I was like growing up on it, but like classic like vloggers like Dan and Phil and like Tyler Oakley, like that entire like sphere of like content creators. I was like, that's actually really interesting. And like watching like I guess like classic like let's play gamers like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. I was like, huh, that's kind of interesting. And like I was thinking about getting into that realm, and so my parents gifted me like the handy cam that we ended up shooting Anniversary 6 on for like a birthday that I had. So I was like messing around with it, like doing like these terrible like awkward vlogs. Um and then I was like, "Oh, I can like make films with this." So I had been like directionless, like maybe I was going to be like a writer, like maybe I was going to be some other kind of like visual artist, and then I was like, "Oh, let me just combine both of these and like write and shoot my stuff." So that's what I did when I got to undergrad, was like really start like focusing in on filmmaking, and I loved it. So that's what I've been like tooling away at for the past like 7 years now.
That's super dope. Whoa. Is there like what are your thoughts on the new Percy Jackson show? I must know as a nerd. What do you think of the new show?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
I don't have Disney Plus. I need to find other ways that I can see it potentially. But yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I've heard that it's like at least better than the original like movies. But I've also heard like some mixed reviews about like the end of like the first season. So I don't know. I've tried to avoid as many spoilers as I can. I will watch it at some point, but yeah, I haven't. The movies like scarred me, so I haven't like bothered like trying to watch anything else yet.
I think in like another like 15 years, you're gonna be like watching the movies for like comfort, even though you hate them. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, this takes me back to that moment. That's what happens. Even the
Yeah.
movies we despise, we end up enjoying eventually.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch because like I really enjoy like terrible movies. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I should go back and watch it again. It was just so personal. I was like, you had such great material like right there in front of you. Like how could you butcher this so bad? I was like I was that was like all I talked about for like a year. To like all my friends was like, this sucked so bad.
So should Percy Jackson be a movie or should it be a TV show? What is your opinion? You think it should just be a movie? It could be a movie?
I feel like it could work as a movie, but like so the issue with that first film was that they tried to like pack the content of a bunch of books into the one movie. So like there's all the baggage surrounding like Harry Potter now too. But the thing that they did that was like really smart was like, okay, each movie is like just that one book. Um so I think if it was like that kind of approach with Percy Jackson, then it would like make more sense. Um that a TV show I feel like also is great. where it's like, okay, you can like, each episode is like a chapter or whatever, or like a couple of chapters, which I think is like the approach that they did for the most recent show that's out now. Yeah. So it's either you need to like commit to like not getting ahead of yourself in the movies, or just like spread it out over like a season of a TV show.
Yeah,
It just depends.
I love a TV show, but oftentimes I'm like, why am I sitting in this story for 8 hours? This could have been a great 2 hour movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I feel like if you have a 2 hour movie or even an hour and a half, you can get everything you want, and it's a more transformative experience because you can just sit through it all at once. Like, I don't know. Anniversary 6 is a really subversive look at a relationship played by the wonderful Alex Rubinick and Tom Perry as Christian and Mark. Um, what is there? What made you want to show this type of relationship and capture it on film?
Yeah, so initially the idea that I had for Anniversary 6 was much bigger. Because I had thought to myself, like that last semester, I was like, okay, what's like the last film that I want to make here at Emerson? And I was like, okay, I really love found footage. I want to like challenge myself to make like a found footage, like kind of like improv type film, because it's a really different experience directing that kind of film versus, like your traditional, like, I guess, like third person, like observer kind of film. So the idea that I had initially come up with was like, okay, found footage means that you need to have like a reason that you're filming. A lot of people film like events and stuff that are like happening at home. So I was like, okay, it's going to be set at a birthday party, and it's going to be the birthday party of Mark. And then his ex Christian is going to show up uninvited, and that's going to cause some drama. And then it turns out that Christian is going to be possessed by a demon, and like the party's going to go to shit. Um, and I was explaining that idea to like my advanced directing professor, and she was like, okay, there's absolutely no way that you're going to be able to do this in like 2 weeks, like whatever like time span that we had initially set out. Because she was like, you're dealing with all the extras at the party, and you've got like special effects and stuff going on here. She was like, that's too much, cut it down. So I was like, okay. So I thought instead, okay, let me do the shorter version of that. And I was like, okay, how did we get here? Which I feel like is a question that is asked a lot when you're in a relationship that's deteriorating. Like, how did we get to the point of this like relationship crumbling so badly? So that was like the thread that I was running with while like writing the treatment for Anniversary 6, and thinking about like, okay, what's the backstory behind these characters, and like how did they get to this point? Like, what personality traits led them to this like fallout now that we're seeing unfolding in the aquarium? So I don't know. It's a lot of like personal like stuff from like previous like failed relationships that I'm in, and like collaborating with like the actors to really like bring in the idea of like, okay, how does a relationship like fall apart so quickly over the span of like an afternoon, after it's already been deteriorating for years at this point?
Whoa, that's heavy. What I also gleaned from that was you had less than 2 weeks of pre-production to get this together?
Uh, kind of, yeah. So the pre-production really was like, it was split across two different classes, where like I was in I was in a writing class that was specifically for like writing like horror. So that I wrote the treatment in that class, and then immediately turned around and like most of the time in the directing class went into like directing exercises and like the whole like casting process. But yeah, like the actual pre-pro for this film, I would say probably averaged out to like 2 weeks. So we were in and out of it like super fast.
That's super, like, that's very inspiring to be able to just like crank out an idea and like get it shot before you even have a chance to like second guess yourself or, overthink it or, make it too elaborate or something like that. So,
For sure, yeah.
kudos. So how many days of shooting were there?
In total, two. There was the half day that we had at the aquarium, which started around like noon, I want to say. We shot at the aquarium for like 2 or 3 hours, give or take. And then went back to my apartment and filmed the sequence at the beginning where like Mark and Christian are like talking about going to the aquarium. So all in all, I think it was like 4-ish hours on like that one day. And then Alex and I got together again like later the next week after he had like gotten over a cold that he had like while we were filming like the aquarium sequence and shot the basement sequence for like another like 2 hours or so. So not a lot of shooting time went into it at all.
So all the stuff outside the aquarium and inside the aquarium is like 3 hours.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, give or take.
Wow, that's awesome. I would figure you'd spend like, a whole day inside and like, a whole day outside because the performances were so good and the sound must have been so tricky to find like the right balance in the public space.
Yeah, I was worried about the sound quality. But like the little handy cam that I have is actually like pretty robust, I guess. Like it works well in low light. And like I had done a couple of like sound tests just like um not in like a crowded like public space but like where we were in the aquarium, but like in like my room in my apartment and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna trust it and we'll see what ends up happening. And worst case scenario, I'll just call it mumblecore. But yeah, it ended up working out pretty well because the aquarium was relatively busy like that day that we went. So it worked out. It worked out
No,
better
but
than I had anticipated that it would.
I think the audio is you couldn't ask for it to be better. Like it gives it this real feel of authenticity. You hear, all these snippets of like this random conversation. You're getting like free audio production value, just like I am with my dogs right now. Oh my God. Um, so how long did it, one second. All right, now I have to edit this a little more. Okay. So how long did it take to edit everything together? Was it also a 2-week minimized window?
uh that I think I was able to take a little bit more time with it. Because I'm trying to remember the timeline. The because it was happening like a while I was also in the process of like finishing everything for like my thesis film that I had shot like the previous semester. So I'm like trying to like think back to everything and it's all just like a blur because graduation time was so crazy. But yeah, I think it was like I had a week for like a rough cut. Or no, I had a week for like just slapping together like an assembly of like the footage that we had shot. And then it was like a week for a rough cut. And then it was like another like week or two for like the final cut. Um, at least for the class. So I think that was like give or take 4 weeks of editing in like the classroom setting. And then once I had like more free time on my hands, I was able to like go back and just like keep tinkering with it. I think I tinkered with it until like June of this year, just like trying to get the sort of like glitchy like crossfades between the scenes looking the way that I wanted it to. So yeah, so that took a little bit longer.
Badass,
Yeah.
badass. So I'm gonna get into a couple spoilery questions now.
Okay.
All right. Spoilers, spoilers. These are the spoilers. Spoilers. So, the movie plays out, and if you're listening to this part, it must be after it has screened on the 28th, at Unnamed Footage Festival. So when you made the decision in the movie to go into possession, right? When you made that swing that you decided it's a possession movie, why did you decide to go in that direction as opposed to like a standard, like this is like a mentally unwell person who, like, has a public outburst or a public attack or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's because I decided that um Christian like at his core was kind of a dumbass. Like rather than him like taking any sense of like personal responsibility, he's like trying to outsource like I guess bringing the relationship back together to this like supernatural entity that he just like found on the internet. Um so I wanted to get like yeah, I don't know. Like I thought a little bit about just having him be like a stalker. And he kind of is towards the end. But I was also like that's too like real. I wanted to like go more into like there's a lot of possibility for like not just horror but also like comedy once you start dealing with like supernatural stuff. So I was like let's push it a little bit more and see what we can get.
I really like how you use the sort of comedic aspects to kind of make the supernatural more believable, like using the light up candles in the ceremony. There's something that's, kind of like there's something wholesome about that type of logic to me. You know what I mean? That this person would be so naive, and it's a credit to the supernatural forces that, as long as the intent is there, they are willing to reciprocate. um I really I gotta say, I want like this big birthday murder now. Like that was the genesis of the idea. I want to see a big birthday party murder scene now. Like that's a very tantalizing thing to tease out and tease me with here now, that I could have had that.
Yeah, well, so that's the feature film that we're working on now, me and Alex. Alex officially like I'm like, yes, I've dubbed you producer on this.
Whoa.
So he's helping organize that. Yeah, so the feature from Anniversary 6 now is Birthday underscore boy. And it like takes place at Mark's birthday party. And is like told from the perspective, like the person holding the camera this time is Mark's new boyfriend, who
Whoa.
is like tasked with like recording the party. And then obviously like Christian shows up possessed and spooky things start to happen. So we're using Anniversary 6 kind of as like a proof of concept for like, okay, here's some of the characters, here's like the the tone that we're going for, here's like the visual style that we're going for, like here's your horror, here's your comedy. um yeah, so that's very exciting.
That's super, super awesome. Are you planning to do a Kickstarter or something eventually for that, or is it
Eventually, yeah.
pretty low budge?
Pretty low budge. Just because shooting in LA is so expensive. Like, everything is gonna have to stay like pretty small. Like we already have like a location that we can use like for free, which is awesome. We're going to shoot it on my Handycam again, since it already like proved itself during like anniversary 6, and I want to maintain like the like authentic grain and stuff that you get from shooting on a Handycam. But we're still like super 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 early in like I guess like the pre-production of it. Like we're still like finalizing the script and everything. So
Wonderful.
hopefully a Kickstarter will get pushed out like maybe by like the end of this year would be cool. But we'll see.
That's wonderful, and I'll be sure to cover it on wundeblog.com when there's more details. That's
Yeah,
great.
that would be great. Thank you.
Um, let's close things out. I've been closing out all these wonderful Unnamed Footage Festival interviews with letting the person I'm interviewing ask me one question about Toy Vlog Hunt. How are you doing? What do you got on the deck?
Uh, uh, so I was curious as to like what your creative process was like, because you've got like the sequence happening at the Target with like going through the toy aisles and like following the guy around, and there's like the funny like voiceover that's happening like while that's going on. I guess did you start from the point of like you wrote the voiceover first and then got the footage at Target, or did you just go to Target and say, okay, let's just film some stuff and see what happens, and then like went and did the voiceover after?
So it was more the latter. I originally I went back and forth with Derek and Danny, who helped me with the movie, on like sort of the basic beginning, middle, and end sort of structure of the plot. And we went back and forth with, how much the character would like sneak into someone's house, or like what sort of level of crime would he document himself doing, you know what I mean, that would be believable or not. And then we were actually preparing, before we started like even talking about this, I was preparing to shoot a totally different short film about Christmas lights, and I just wanted to make like a holiday horror film, and everything fell through with that project. So I immediately my this was my like backup idea on deck, and so I was like, or I'll push it forward. And then I originally wasn't supposed to star in it. Derek, who plays the victim and does the music, they were supposed to be the character, and then at the last moment they were like, "Hey, why don't we switch? Why don't I be the victim and you just be the person, and you know what you want, so you don't have to direct me, so it'll make it easier." And so we just went that way. And we had no official written script at that point. It was just me just freestyling what moments would be in these YouTube videos that would be stock, where I would show my face. And then it was just going around the store and trying to film people at the store without really filming them, you know what I mean? In a very, I didn't want to like feel like I was exploiting random people at the store for any reason, but I think that it's kind of creepy when like you pan the camera and there's like a little kid and an old man there or something like that who just so happened to be there. And so I was just going around the store and I was thinking about shooting it. How would this creepy character shoot this? And I was trying to really make it in character and film it in character. And these are the decisions that ultimately ended up on screen. We originally So we shot that one sequence at the toy store. I edited it all together into what I thought uh seemed the most visually dynamic, um which maybe it's too much movement for some people, I don't know. And then I basically did like 3 different drafts, improvising what this person would say to the toys and what his shtick would be on camera or on voiceover. And I chose the best moments I thought from those like 3 different improvs, and then I made this one version. And then the kill, we originally shot it inside a house, and there wasn't a physical kill to it. It was just the dead body laying there, and with like a lamp over it. And my wife very smartly was like, "This is horrible. You have to reshoot the kill. Like you're an idiot. Don't do this. This has no impact, and you need to have an impact." So we reshot the kill into what it is now. Um, and we just kind of devised it in that day in less than 30 minutes. We put together the kill. And then the ending montage of the toy room, that basically I basically throughout the production of this film, I've been going like back and forth with like different like hospital visits and helping out my parents with several medical things. And so the toy room is in my old bedroom in their house. So every time I would like go by, I would film a couple of moments of me in the toy room with different toys in different outfits, just to sort of show like this crazy passage of time that's supposed to like signify all the possible kills that this person has committed. And then I showed it to a bunch of test audiences, so a bunch of friends and stuff, and they weren't really getting what I was putting down at the ending. So I added like I'm just gonna have to have a shot of me covered in blood in the end montage to like sell it even further. Um, and so yeah, so it was really over the course of like a year and a half that I was slowly just grabbing little pieces of what I needed to make the film.
Nice. Very, very extended process then. That's cool.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always nice to see like the final version of something that you've been like working on for, so long coming together.
Yeah, it's also just because I procrastinate a lot, so that's part of the process too. And I second guess myself, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is horrible. What am I doing?" And then like a month later, I'm like, "All right, let's continue being horrible. Let's go, I guess." So yeah, and then the graphics at the beginning and the end of the movie, that's actually like the first thing that I created when I started thinking about the movie. So in a way, they helped like guide what I thought this character, you know, was supposed to be. So I found it useful to have those sort of little like totems to guide me along the way. If I like forgot who the character was, I had the graphic there to like give me the idea again. And if I could lean on the toy montage and, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Having like visual like I guess goalposts as you're like working through something creatively is super helpful.
So this was a super awesome interview. Is there anything you'd like to plug before we tune out here?
Um, Anything I'd like to plug? My Instagram is at Lucifer Brimstone. If you want to see cute cat pictures and also whenever I get into other film festivals or am like working on other films, I'll be posting it there. Um, I think that's like pretty much the only thing. I'm still like relatively new at all of this, so I don't have other like websites or
You don't
like
have like a
Vimeo
YouTube
pages.
channel you're directing anyone towards yet? No?
Um, I mean, I guess so. So Carmen Perez Productions is like a YouTube channel that I have. It's got a bunch of like older films that I made on it when I was like back back in undergrad and like a couple of like grad school projects. Some of them are like okay, some of them I'm like, oh, don't watch this. But yeah, I've got that. Yeah, I don't know. Most of everything important that I'll be like posting it will be through my Instagram.
Wonderful. This has been Carmen Perez. I have been Stephen. And remember, kids, when you're at Unnamed Footage Festival, if you bring a date along to Unnamed Footage Festival and you decide to start filming them, don't make it awkward, okay? Respect their boundaries and just be cool about it. Don't make it weird. Boom, that's the show.
Hail Wunder. Hail Wunder.
Wundercast? Give it
Yeah.
up for Wundercast, man. What an adorable name.
You're listening to the Wundercast.
What's up, everybody? This is Jason David Frank, Green Ranger. You're listening to Unnamed.
You can find it at Wundercast, and I know they love Effie.
I'd like to close this out by urging everyone to go over to wunderblog.com, and you'll see on all of our recent podcasts, and once I post this up there, there will be a link to D-Rock's Patreon account for ad infinitum.
Oh, why'd you start linking my Patreon exactly when I stopped updating?
Oh no! Never mind!
You can also...
No, I'm gonna update it soon, I am. Because Halloween-a-thon's almost over. I've been busy with Halloween-a-thon, so...
You
Sorry,
can
everybody.
also support the Ringing Rocks roller rink and their GoFundMe to improve their local facility. You can check us out at Wundercast on TikTok and on Twitter. And thank you for joining us on YouTube.
Subscribe to the Wundercast.